The United States just lost control of the biggest sporting event on planet Earth, and they didn't even see it coming. What if I told you that Canada and Mexico just pulled off one of the greatest sports heists in history? Not with corruption, not with politics, with something far more dangerous: competence. Everyone assumed the 2026 World Cup was America's show. Billion-dollar stadiums, 80,000-seat venues, corporate money flooding in, the whole world watching American cities dominate the tournament. Wrong. FIFA just moved the most important matches, the semifinals, the moments that create legends, to Canada and Mexico. This isn't a scheduling tweak. This is a power transfer. And the story of how it happened is absolutely wild. Here's what actually happened. November 2022. FIFA announces the first ever three-nation World Cup. USA, Mexico, Canada, 48 teams, 104 matches. Historic. Everyone thought America's going to run this. On paper, made sense. MetLife Stadium holds 80,000 fans. AT&T Stadium is a city inside a stadium. SoFi Stadium cost $5 billion. $5 billion. The infrastructure was there. The money was there. The corporate partnerships were lined up. Media networks were ready. Everything pointed to American dominance. But here's the thing about infrastructure. It doesn't mean execution. Having the tools doesn't mean you'll use them right. And having the biggest budget doesn't mean you'll deliver on time. March 2024, cracks start showing. American cities miss deadlines. Stadium agreements stall. Budget overruns. Political fights. Security revisions. It wasn't one thing. It was everything. Cities couldn't agree with stadium owners. Local governments fought with federal authorities. Sponsorship deals created conflicts. Renovation plans kept getting revised. Every week brought a new complication. Meanwhile, and this is where it gets interesting, Canada and Mexico are moving at warp speed. Toronto, upgrades finished early, not on time. Early. Vancouver, security system so good that FIFA inspectors called it the most thorough they'd evaluated in years. Mexico City, renovated Estadio Azteca, one of football's most legendary venues, ahead of schedule. But it wasn't just speed. It was quality. Every inspection came back positive. Every budget stayed balanced. Every deadline was met with time to spare. This wasn't luck. This was systematic excellence. And FIFA was watching everything. September 8th, 2024. The turning point. FIFA president reviews the reports in Doha. The contrast is brutal. 7 American cities missed construction deadlines. 3 exceeded budgets. 2 stuck in new political disputes. Canada and Mexico, every milestone hit. Budget stable. Facilities inspection ready. This is where Elon Musk's first principle thinking applies. Strip away the assumptions. What actually matters? Not money, not size, reliability. FIFA made a calculation. Who do we trust with the sport's grandest moments? Answer, not the country that assumed it would win by default. And here's where it gets even more interesting. Because FIFA didn't just make a small adjustment. They rewrote the entire tournament structure. By December 2024, the numbers told the story. USA 48 matches, down from 60. Mexico 29 matches. Canada 27 matches, 12 matches shifted. 12, that's not a minor change. That's a complete restructuring of power. But here's what matters most. FIFA moved a semifinal to Toronto. Read that again. A semifinal. One of the 2 most important matches of the tournament. In Canada, billions of people will watch the world's best players compete on Canadian soil. The atmosphere, the landmarks, the narrative, all shifted north of the border. Think about what that means. A kid in Brazil, a family in Nigeria, fans in Japan, they'll all watch Canada host one of the biggest sporting moments on Earth. That's not just a match. That's a cultural shift. That's Canada stepping onto the global stage in a way they never have before. Legacy isn't written in group stages. It's written in semifinals. And that legacy now belongs to Canada and Mexico. Mexico's getting similar treatment. Estadio Azteca, the same venue where Maradona scored the Hand of God goal, where Pelé lifted the trophy, is hosting critical knockout matches. This isn't just scheduling. This is FIFA saying, we trust you with the moments that define generations. This is about more than football. This is a case study in modern competition. Canada didn't have the biggest budget. They had the best execution. Mexico didn't have the newest stadiums. They had the deepest preparation. The United States had every advantage and lost it through assumption and complacency. And here's the uncomfortable truth. American organizers kept saying, it'll get done, we have time, we have resources. But resources without execution are worthless. Promises without delivery mean nothing. Canada and Mexico weren't making promises. They were showing results. Sound familiar? This is happening across industries. The old guard assumes past success guarantees future dominance. Then someone hungrier, more focused, more disciplined comes in and takes it. Tesla versus Detroit, SpaceX versus Boeing, Canada and Mexico versus American World Cup organizers. Same pattern. The incumbent thinks their size and history protect them. The challenger focuses on execution, and eventually, execution wins. Detroit had a century of car manufacturing dominance. Tesla had a vision and relentless execution. Boeing had government contracts and legacy. SpaceX had reusable rockets and faster iteration. In every case, the winner wasn't the one with the most resources. It was the one who used their resources best. You can have all the resources in the world, the biggest stadiums, the most money, the strongest brand. But if you don't execute, if you miss deadlines, fumble logistics, assume you'll win by default, someone else will take your spot, and they won't give it back. Let me give you specifics because this gets even crazier. Toronto's BMO Field went through a complete transformation. They expanded capacity, upgraded facilities, built new training areas, all while maintaining the venue for ongoing matches. They didn't shut down and rebuild. They evolved while operating. That's next-level project management. Vancouver's BC Place installed a new pitch system that meets FIFA's exact specifications. Not close. Exact. They brought in international consultants, tested everything multiple times, and delivered perfection. Mexico went even further. Guadalajara's Estadio Akron received upgrades that improved fan experience, security, and broadcast capabilities. Monterrey's Estadio BBVA implemented crowd control systems that can handle 70,000 fans with smooth entry and exit. These weren't cosmetic changes. These were operational masterpieces. And American cities? Still negotiating, still revising, still promising it would all come together. FIFA ran the numbers. They ran simulations. They evaluated risk. And they made the hard choice. June 11, 2026. Opening day. The world tunes in. Toronto's skyline. Vancouver's mountains. Mexico City's electric atmosphere inside Azteca. The American dominance everyone predicted? Gone before kickoff. This is what disruption looks like in real time. Not in tech, not in space. In sports, the most visible stage on Earth. And here's what makes this even more significant. This isn't just about one tournament. This sets the tone for the next decade of football in North America. Canada's youth participation in football has exploded. Kids who never considered the sport are now dreaming of playing professionally. The Canadian Premier League is gaining momentum. Investment is pouring in. This World Cup isn't just an event. It's a catalyst. Mexico's football culture was already strong, but this cements their position as a global football power. Not just in tradition, but in infrastructure and organization. Countries looking to host future tournaments will study what Mexico did and try to replicate it. And the United States? They're learning a hard lesson. In real time, on the global stage, Canada and Mexico didn't beg for this opportunity. They didn't negotiate for scraps. They earned it through preparation, through discipline, through doing the work while everyone else was busy making assumptions. The center of gravity has shifted, and it's not shifting back. When you stop executing, someone else starts leading. When you coast on past success, you wake up watching your competitors claim the future. 48 nations, 104 matches, 3 hosts, but only 2 prepared like champions. The 2026 World Cup won't just crown a football champion. It'll crown the countries that understood what winning actually requires in the modern world. Spoiler alert, it's not the ones who assumed they'd already won. This is the new reality of global competition. Execution beats intention, results beat promises, preparation beats assumptions, and when the world watches those semifinals in Toronto and Mexico City, when billions of people see Canada and Mexico at the center of the biggest sporting event on Earth, everyone will understand exactly how this happened. Not through luck, not through politics, through competence. If this kind of analysis is what you're here for, subscribe. Because what happened in football is happening everywhere, and we're just getting started.